tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the basics of C#. Now, why do we need to add code into our game? So as you saw in my last basics of Unity tutorial, it's pretty much not really a game. It's not customized. If there was no code to a game, every single game would be pretty much the same. There's no customization to it. There's no creativity that needs to be really put into it. So like, if you had no code, then you wouldn't be able to do your own new genre of game. So there's not gonna everybody's game would be pretty much the same. You wouldn't be able to put a twist on your game. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today, is how the basics of coding C#. I'm going to be showing you guys if statements, functions, variables, and later on we're going to be doing like interfaces, enums, all that stuff, all that good stuff. So to get started, under your scripts folder in the project view, you're going to create a C# script. Now, I'm going to name this script, we're just going to do tutorial. I don't know what to call it. Okay, so open it up. Now, if you've never opened up a script before in Unity, you're going to have to wait just a little while because MonoDevelop will have to get set up, maybe. Depends on what you use. Okay, so when you open the script up, this is what it's going to look like. You have an update function and a start function. Now, you can sort of guess what the start function does. It just basically starts when everything starts. When the game starts, it calls this function. So for example, let me go ahead and put something in the start function. So one thing that you're going to have to do for testing errors, testing out to see if your functions work, testing if your if statements work before writing a bunch of code, is saying debug.log. And we're going to log hello world. So this is one of the first things that you learn when doing really any coding, is how to print text out. So you're not going to see the text if you click play right now. You will, but you'll see it in the bottom corner over here. And you don't actually see anything. Now you might be thinking, oh, I don't know why my scripts are wrong. That's not true. You need to assign it to You need to assign it to a game object. So create empty. Rename this empty, whatever you want. I'm just going to call it script holder. I'm going to pull the tutorial script into the inspector. And as you can see, we have assigned our own script to this game object. Now, if we click play, you will actually see it in the bottom corner, the bottom left corner. But we don't really know for sure right now. You can see it, but it's kind of hard. You don't want to have to keep looking down there. So we're going to put it right here. So we're going to basically go under Window, hit Console, and just drag it over into the inspector, right beside the inspector. And now, as you can see, it says Hello World. So we actually did something. That's awesome. But it's not a game still. We still haven't customized it to be our game. So, we're going to keep this there, and I'm going to show you what the update function does. So what I'm going to do is say, actually let me just explain what the update function is. This update function is called once per frame. Now, one frame is like an 1/8 of a second, or a 1/16 of a second. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's very tiny. It's like a millisecond. So, if you put a debug.log in here, I'm just going to show you what it does. Don't actually do it. I'm going to say, this is the update function. If you did this, it's going to spam your console with text. Because it's called every millisecond, it's going to spam it. So thankfully right here it's not actually doing that because I'm on a different version of Unity. But if you have a 5.3, it just spams it and it goes all the way down. So if you have a debug.log in there, it's going to spam it and you will never be able to see it. So never put an update of debug.log in the update function if you have anything else. And in general, don't do that because it can actually crash Unity. Okay. So, let's actually do something here with some variables. So, I'm going to show you all 4 variables. I'm going to type them out first. So, I'm going to do a Boolean first. So, what is a Boolean? A Boolean is basically a true or false statement type of thing. So, I'm going to put in here, I'm going to name this Boolean. I'm going to name it pigs. I don't know why. I'm just going to name it whatever I want to. So this Boolean here is basically a true or false thing. So if we go to the script holder, the inspector, you go to the inspector here, make sure it's on the game object that your script is on, you can see pigs. It's either false, it's on or it is off, whichever one. So if pigs are on, pigs are off. But if you played this right now, pigs on, pigs off, nothing happens. That's because nothing's going on. So basically nothing's being called in the update function to handle the pigs boolean. So let's go ahead and make something happen. I'm going to use if statement for this. So I'm going to say if, and then put 2 of the brackets, not brackets, like, yeah, whatever these are right here. And then I'm going to say in there, if pigs equals, make sure it's 2 equals, because if it's not, Unity doesn't like it and there will be an error. So if pigs equals false or true, I'm going to enable this to true. So if it's true, then debug.log pigs, because I named the Boolean pigs, I'm just going to say pigs. I don't know why, it just first thing that entered my mind. Okay, so in the console right now, we have hello world, right? And right now, pigs is false. But if we enable pigs, we have pigs. And it's being called every millisecond, pretty much, because when pigs is true, it's going to call it. So, yeah, that's basically an if statement and the Boolean. Now, I'm going to show you another variable. This one is called an integer. This one is a number. So, I'm going to call this amounts of pigs, I guess. And then I'm going to put a semicolon at the end of it. I think it's a colon or semicolon, whatever it is. You have to do that, by the way, at the end of every single statement or whatever it is. You need to put that. Other than the functions and the if statements, you have to do that. So, how are we going to do this with the if statements? So, if the amount of pigs, we're going to say if we have 500 pigs, then I'm going to debug.log. There is so many pigs. Okay, now, if pigs equals true, and if we have 500 pigs, we do something. No, that's not the case. We can remove this, and the same thing would happen. So, what we're doing here is, this has no reference to this right here. So, if we change this, this wouldn't change anything here. This is totally different from what this is. So if you think, oh, if pigs is true, then it can do this. That's not true. If you want that, then you basically need to put this if statement under this if statement. So if pigs equals true. So if you want it to be like if pigs equals true and if we have 500 pigs, you would say under that, there's another way to do this, by the way, but I'm not going to be showing you guys that. So if the amount of pigs equals 500, then you can do something. And that would be under this if statement here. And that would mean that if pigs equals true and if the amount of pigs equals 500. But right now we're going to keep these separate. So if we played this, in the inspector, we have an amount of pigs and pigs. Let's enable pigs, and it's going to say pigs. Let's disable it, and it's going to stop updating. It's going to stop spamming that out. I'm going to set the amount of pigs to be 500. Now, there's so many pigs. It says that right there. So, that is the integer. Now, what about like decimals and all that? What if you wanted that? The integer is full numbers, so you can't put a decimal there and have like a half or something. So, how do you do that? There's another variable called a float. And this is basically the decimals. So, I'm just going to say half pigs. I don't know. That works for now. So then we're going to create another if statement that says if half pigs equals 1.5 f. You might be thinking, why is there an f there? The f stands for float. Why is that there? I don't know, but it does need to be there because that just shows that it is a decimal and not a full number. That's how Unity knows. So, after every little float or every decimal thing, if you have a decimal with a number behind it, you need to put f, basically. So, any number that's like that, you need an f behind it. So, under half pigs, what are we going to say? We're just going to say debug.log, somebody cut my pig in half. We're going to say that. Okay? So now if we go over here and we click play, and we go to the inspector, and we select our script holder, we have half pigs, we have amount of pigs, and we have pigs. Let's go ahead and set all of these to where the if statements see them. 1.5. And just to show you that we can't do anything, I'm pressing as hard as I can. If you guys can hear that, and nothing's happening with that. Okay. And we have somebody cut my pig in half. There's so many pigs, and also hello world. Now, that is the basics of C#. We still can't do much, but it's something. This is a start. So this is the very, very, very basics. This is starting off. In the next tutorial, it will be more advanced, so just a little bit more advanced. So editing the game. So maybe changing the color of the game object instead of putting the debug.log there. So yeah, that is the very basics of C#, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next tutorial with more C# stuff.